You're a conductor now, but what was your instrument before?
When I was 3, I studied violin. After a few years, I realized I wouldn't be as good as my father, so I quit. Then I took up piano, realized I wouldn't be as good as my uncle, so I quit. I took up viola because nobody else in the family played it. It was safe. And then ultimately I actually wound up being a major in composition. Conducting didn't come until I was about 19 or 20 years old. So, in fact, generally I think conducting should come on the later side anyway. And I do think, if I had to offer one piece of advice for anybody who's a budding conductor out there, learn to play a string instrument, at least a little bit, enough to know the mechanics. Because
Right.
80% of what you're going to say to an orchestra is going to be addressed to the strings anyway. So
Well,
it
they're
really
a large
helps.
portion of the orchestra.
Exactly. But also, it helps to understand the simple physical characteristic of how the bow stroke feels.
Right.
And once you know that as a player, it's easy to express to the orchestra. You get a much better feel for it. That's why someday you're all set. You can conduct now.
Oh, no, thank you.
Sure you can.
And being a composer for a while, did that give you insight into scores?
Yeah, I think because what we do, you, me, for the most part, is recreative. We take what somebody else has written and try to present it to what we think the composer wants. But once you start writing or arranging, anything like that, you get more into the head of the creative process. And it helps you understand why a composer might have made certain choices. And in many cases, where we look at a composer, we go, well, maybe even Beethoven made a mistake once in a while. But it helps to know that from the point of view of writing yourself.
Did you do much performance on an instrument before you turned to conducting?
Piano, primarily. I used to do a lot of accompanying. My brother's a cellist, and we did many recitals together. And then when I was at Juilliard, I used to accompany all the juries and all that. But I never thought of myself as being an instrumentalist. It's too much work. Just waving your arms in the air is enough for me.
So that's the difference for you between performing an instrument and conducting?
Well, as
For
my mother used to
performance.
say, this doesn't make a sound. But on the other hand, you have to be able to look at a score, hear it in your head, and then try to realize it. And there's usually a very short rehearsal period of time.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Balancing, psychological impact.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things about conducting that are difficult, but the basics are not so hard. Anybody can pretty much beat time.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.